So thanks everyone for joining this session today. Before we get into the session, quick introduction about me. This session is about AI-powered project management, how we can leverage artificial intelligence in project management. So that is the topic for today's session. So my name is Pawan Kumar. I am PMP and PGMP certified as well as PMI authorized trainer. I have got a 20 years of experience working in technology and project and program management with global MNC organizations. I'm passionate about AI. I have been studying several literatures and books and other articles related to the AI as it has come into the existence. So I'm passionate about AI and its application in modern project management, specifically for project management perspective, how AI can help us to improve the project management. And I have also completed all the AI-focused courses offered by PMI so far. So I've done all the courses. So most of my content will be from that PMI courses perspective, because I try to curate all the synthesized information that has come from the AI courses on PMI. So that's the discussion we are going to. I'm also a lifelong learner committed to exploring the future of tech-oriented, tech-enabled leadership. Right? So this session is going to be around 90 minutes. We will see how much we are able to cover. So I have listed a lots of content. It will get into the details as well. So we'll try to wrap up the entire session within 90 minutes. Okay. So with that, let's get into the session. Thank you. What is the learning objective? So this is my promise that by end of this session, you will have a very good understanding of artificial intelligence and its key elements. What are those key elements? Because we generally take AI term in a very broad sense. So how this is going to drill down in terms of impacting our project management. And then we'll talk about the use of artificial intelligence in project management versus managing AI project. From my perspective, these are two different things. How we use AI in project management versus managing an AI project. So we'll explain like what is the difference. Even PMI, when curate their courses, they are not differentiating this to a separate element. So they are merging it together. But my way of seeing it is like these are the two different skill sets that needed. So use of AI in project management is kind of a mandatory for everyone, though managing AI project is something that only few people would be interested to go and managing AI project, because not every project is going to be the AI project in the future. There will be other projects as well. So that's why it is necessary that you understand the difference. And then we'll talk about overview of managing AI projects. So my focus would be to give you an insight how our project management can be improved by utilizing AI tools, some understanding of AI, how to explore artificial intelligence, specifically generative AI, so that we can that can help us in our project management. So that's the core objective of this session today. Okay. So first of all, let's try to understand what is artificial intelligence. It's a very common definition that artificial intelligence is the ability of machine and computer systems to mimic human cognitive functions such as learning, reasoning, problem solving, and decision making using data, algorithm, and experience. So in terms of a definition, it seems like it's just a new way of technology, but the major differentiator between what we are managing in terms of a technology or application development and how AI is going to impact, there is a major difference. So the major difference is that currently all our applications are instruction driven. So we give the instruction to the application what to do, means the person who is creating an application, he should know all the probability and all possibility as well as the steps that needs to be taken to complete that work. Means the programmer who is trying to come up with an application, he should know all the outputs in advance, then only he can create or develop any application, which is more of an automation. But in terms of AI, what happens, comes up with some algorithm which is able to self-learn, learn by itself, and reasoning and doing a problem solving as well. Means once the AI product is developed, if somebody will try to do the re-engineering to understand why the output was exactly as it is, so even for the developer would not be possible. That's the major difference between artificial intelligence and the existing technology-driven applications. So these are the key characteristics of AI, like learns from data. It's not just the pre-programmed or adapt based on input. So it learn by itself based on the data that we provide. Perform cognitive task means it can take a decision based on the experience, and they can plan itself. So that's the key characteristics. Improve over time. So if you have created an application for some work to be performed, it will continue to perform the same way till you are not making any changes. But in terms of AI, it will keep on improving by itself based on the new experience, new learning, new data, and new environment. Enhanced human capability doesn't replace PM, but augment their data. This is a very important message, that AI is not going to replace the project management or any of the existing work, but it will improve or augment their role. So that's the main differentiator. So I want everyone to understand this one in a very basic, like what is the difference between the existing automation or application development and artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is like you have planted a seed in soil, and then it's growing by its own. You are only giving a water. Water is kind of a data that you keep on giving, but it grows by its own. And you cannot understand how it is able to kind of grow and have leaves and fruits and flowers, etc. That we cannot understand. Exactly same thing is the artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence application we just develop based on the data that we have, and we give very initial algorithm, and then it grow by its own. Okay. So in terms of AI as well, broadly, it has been divided into two components. One we call is the narrow or a weak AI, and another one is the artificial general intelligence. So far, whatever artificial intelligence application we have seen in current environment, they are all narrow or weak AI. A system that are designed to perform a specific task or solve a narrow defined problem, they fall under the narrow AI or a weak AI. So most of the today's AI fall under this category, like they excel on, which excels on one function and cannot generalize beyond it. So they are mostly been created for a specific task. They perform a specific task such as conversational chatbots, predictive analytics, repeating tasks, or facial recognition. These are the specific tasks that they can perform. Like example is ChatGPT for the generating text. So it generates text. So that is the specific work that they perform. Similarly, like Siri or Alexa answering a question, and AI-powered tool in project management as well. There are several project management tools which is coming these days. They will fall under the narrow AI. At the same time, artificial general intelligence (AGI) is a hypothetical AI that can understand, learn, and apply intelligence across wide range of tasks, just like a human. Means, like human, we are not only doing one particular task. We are capable of doing all the work that comes in our day-to-day life, right? So we are able to synthesize information, we are able to talk to others. When we are at home, we play a different role. When we are in the professional um, uh, structure, we work differently. When we are with friends, we behave differently. Similarly, the artificial general intelligence is a hypothetical term, and it's not something that will, on one particular day, we will cross the page and we will be in the AGI. It is going to be happening gradually. Like even the current generative AI is towards the direction that it will be converted, it will get converted into the artificial general intelligence. Okay. It's also referred as ACI these days. I mean, because there is no very clear-cut definition of AGI. Everyone is trying to come up with their own name. So Microsoft has recently named it the ACI, ASI, so artificial super intelligence. So these are the terms. We are yet not achieved this milestone. So we don't have AGI that exists today in our environment. So hope you guys understand, like the existing artificial intelligence that we see today, they are all fall under narrow AI or the weak AI. So this is again just to give some view, like how we will be trying to utilize AI in project management or in overall way of working or the modern way of working. So this is called the augmented intelligence. As I was saying, AI is not going to replace individual, but the one who will be working on AI, who will be using AI, they will replace the current workforce. So, and who will be utilizing AI, they will be called the augmented intelligence. So augmented intelligence is the idea of machine and human working together to enhance rather than replace human or tasks. Means there are some characteristics where human have a better strength, they are better, and there are some areas where human thought process has weaknesses, and those weaknesses will be fulfilled or will be replaced by machine, and that's how it will augment you, right? So that's the concept. So human strengths are the intuition, that we can get the intuition sometime based on looking at the environment or looking at the person. We get some intuition which does not exist in machine today. Emotional intelligence, common sense, creativity, and learning adaptability, these are the features or the strengths of human. At the same time, machine has some strengths which is our weaknesses for human. So that's the fallback, like wherever human is being weakened, that will be replaced by machine. So then human and machine together will form the augmented intelligence. That is what we are trying to say, that it's not a replacement of a human, but it's an augmentation of human capabilities. And this is the kind of a graph which indicates how, like all those probabilistic thinking, current human are not very good at thinking about the in a probabilistic way, that we just, our psychology today, we only see the event and according to that we try to react. We don't think from the probability perspective. Dealing with a large volume of information, our cognition or the working memory are very limited. We cannot work on a multiple data at the same time. So those limitations will be fulfilled by machine. And the biases, human comes with the biases. There are multiple reasons why the biases happen in terms of a human psychology. So those biases can be avoided in terms of a machine. Responding reliably to the training and instructions. So even if we get the reliable instruction and training, we are not able to respond well. And that's the reason there are several problems that exist in the society. So those things can be replaced by machine. Okay. So here I'm trying to give you a view. So how this overall picture look like, and before we get into the detail of those tools that we will be utilizing, it's important that you understand the overall picture. So the entire system is called the artificial intelligence. Then the term comes machine learning. I will explain about the machine learning as well. What is machine learning? why it does not exist in the existing application development. And then there is a component of machine learning which is called deep learning. So within some specialized machine learning is called the deep learning. And then using deep learning, we have developed the generative AI. And within generative AI, there are multiple generative AI tool can be developed, and LLM is one of the two. There can be other tools as well, and that's also kind of in progress, which is being created. So LLM is one of the generative AI tool, and ChatGPT is one of the LLM. So that's how the hierarchy look like. We'll try to explain about the machine learning, deep learning, and generative AI as well. And then we'll get into the detail about the large language model, how we will utilize large language model in our day-to-day work. And ChatGPT is one of the examples. We can utilize other LLM models as well, like the Claude, Gemini, DeepSeek. So there are so many LLMs that exist today in the market, and it's going to improve over the period of time. Okay. Very quickly, an overview about machine learning, what the machine learning is. This is the differentiator where the existing digital age or the application development differs with the artificial intelligence. Machine learning is the differentiator. What it means, this has the ability to learn, is the key to exhibit intelligence. Means it learns by itself. If any one of you have worked on the application development, what happens in the application development? You create all the scenarios that what you want to achieve. Then you create an algorithm that what should happen when one step ahead. So like if else scenario, multiple programming you do. You give all the steps to the computer to perform any task. Right? So if developer or the business analyst does not know what needs to happen to complete this work, he cannot program it. But now that limitation is going away. So you need not to know exact those steps that needs to be performed, but you should only know the data. You should only have a data and what you want to achieve. And that's where the no code concept also comes into the picture. Without even knowing the coding or the programming language, anyone can program any application with the help of artificial intelligence. That's the beauty of machine learning. So machine learning means machine. Instead of a human, machine will learn. And learn from what? They will learn from the data. So machine learning is a set of methods and processes that enable computer systems to learn the patterns and pattern from the data. These patterns comes from stored data that are analyzed using different formulas called the ML algorithm. So there are multiple machine language algorithms that exist. So if you know some programming language like the Python, etc., these languages has the algorithm. You just need to use those algorithms, and then you can create a machine learning system. And machine learning system can be given a data, then it will learn by itself, and then you can give an instruction what you want to achieve out of these data. So these algorithms encode learning from training data into ML models, representing what the machines have learned from the data for a particular task. So machine learning has three different types of machine learning. One is supervised, where you give the instruction plus the data, what you need to, machine needs to learn, right? So that's the task driven. Predictive next value, right? So you give them the value, like very good example that always been referred, that the face recognition system. So that started with lots of data, lots of pictures of cats was given to the system and then given an algorithm that's how you learn about the cat. So looking at thousands and lakhs of pictures of cat, it will be able to detect whenever if it will see the picture of a cat, it will detect that it's a cat. So that is the supervised learning. Then we have unsupervised learning, where you give lots of data, unstructured data, and let them know that identify the clusters, identify the pattern, and then you come up with your own idea like what are the difference, and then you can analyze. Means we are just asking machine to learn by itself and give me the information what you have learned. So basically we are replacing human learning with the machine learning. And reinforcement is nothing but that you already have a learning and then you are reinforcing with additional information. This reinforcement in the existing Gen AI as well is being termed as RAG, reinforcement augmented learning, where the existing chat GPT or any other Gen AI tool, LLM tool, and you add up your organization data, it will get reinforced and then be very specific LLM model for your organization. That's where the reinforcement comes. This slide will talk a little bit about the neural network and deep learning. So this artificial intelligence as a concept itself is a very old concept. It's not very new. So even in the 20th century, near about mid 20th century, like 1962 or approx that time. So it was observed by the programmers and physicists that we should be able to mimic the human brain in the programming language, and that is what the neural network is, right? So how our brain works, that has been identified. Like we observe the environment, and based on that we create a pathway of the neurons in our brain, and that's what the learning happens. That's where the learning happens. A neural network is a type of machine learning model designed to work like a simplified version of a human brain. In a very simple term, the way human brain stores the data and learn things that you can recall at any point of time, that has been mimicked in a neural network as a technology. It learns to recognize patterns in data and make predictions. So even in our human world, so what happens? So since childhood, we have been observing multiple things. Even if somebody has not specifically guided and trained us how to do things, we have learned, and we have learned how we have observed it. And because of the observation in human brains, there is something called the synapse, neurons, and neurons creates a pathway. And that pathway becomes the understanding on the knowledge of the world, and that's how we behave. Okay, so that's why in the neuroscience as well, it is called generally human brain learns until the age of 18, and after that your learning is stopped in terms of a neuroscience terms. But with the plasticity of the learning elasticity, people can change the pathway. Means after 18 years of age, your pathway has been created, all the learning has been done. So whatever you learn in the later age, it's just the changing in the pathway. You generally, people does not create new neurons, are not able to develop new neurons. Their existing neurons get adjusted and create a new path, and that's how you learn new things. So that is the same phenomena we are trying to replicate in a computer system, and that is what the neural network is. Made of layer of node neurons that processes data. Here, as you can see, these are the layers. Input layer, where the data means observation from the environment comes, and then the hidden layer, and then this is the output layer. This is a very simple neural network structure. And when this layer is being multiplied by multiple, means all of these hidden layer itself is a one neural layer network, and it can be multiplied n number of times. And that is where the CPU utilization comes into the picture, that our advanced artificial intelligence programming is only possible if we have a very vast amount of data processing capacity. And that's where the all your NVIDIA GPU and other processing unit comes into the picture. So that's what the deep learning is. Deep learning is a type of machine learning that uses very large neural networks with many layers of understanding and learn from the complex data like images, text, or speeches. So this seems a little technical, but still I want you guys to understand it, because once you understand the ultimate source like from where this AI is coming into the picture, then you will be able to mimic and try to utilize those tools in your day-to-day scenario. Means you will be able to realize we can just give the observation and n number of data. Then instead of giving the step-by-step instruction to the computer, I can just ask that you learn and then perform what I want. Okay. Deep learning is useful for the complex tasks like image recognition, language understanding, called the deep, because it has many hidden layers in the network. It can automatically learn features without manual programming. Manual programming is the term that I'm trying to repeat again and again. So any application development is a manual programming. You need to know all the steps that needs to happen to perform the work. Here, this is being replaced. You need not to know all the steps that needs to be programmed. So it will happen through an algorithm and the machine learning, neural network, and deep learning. Powers technologies like voice assistant, chatbots, self-driving car, all of these technology that exist today or is being developed, they are because of the deep learning. So then, see, we talked about artificial intelligence, we talked about machine learning, we understood the deep learning. Then we'll talk about generative AI. What is Gen AI? Gen AI is the specialized output or an application of machine learning or the deep learning. Okay, generative AI is a specialized branch of artificial intelligence that uses advanced machine learning techniques, particularly neural networks and deep learning, to create new central content such as text, images, audio, or codes based on pattern learning learned from the large data sets. So what happens in generative AI model that exists today? It's lots and lots of data has been feed into the machine learning. So like ChatGPT as an example, how did they evolve? So they give a huge amount of data across the internet, all websites, all the contents of the books, all articles that exist, all the any articles that had been published so far, either in a science or any other stream, all those data had been feed in. And then it has a model. It has an algorithm which learns, and based on that learning, you can imagine, like, if one person has read all the books that exist in the world today, how efficient he can be. Means he can, if he has remembered everything whatever exists in the across the world, all the books, he will be the most intelligent person. So that is what it is happening with the generative AI model in terms of a text. So the ChatGPT, in terms of a text editing, text generation, that's the tool which has all the information from across the world, all the books, all websites, any other information that you can think of, all that data is there. And those learning has been synthesized within the model. And now if you ask that LLM to give me the output, so you can imagine you have so much of a wise person who are giving you the answer based on his huge understanding and the knowledge. That is what the Gen AI. And LLM is the specialized. I was talking about the text only, but the similar case for the images, audio, or code-based or the pattern learning can also happen. Means there are multiple AI tools that is coming who generate the videos, audios, and even images. So those tools are based on the LLM, means the large language, plus their audio input or the video input. All those input has been given, and then they are able to do that. So LLM are a specialized type of generative AI designed to understand and generate human-like text. They are built using deep learning techniques and trained on vast amount of text data to perform language-related tasks such as answering questions, summarizing content, writing emails, and generating project documents. These are the area where we can utilize LLM. So again, it's just a hierarchical view that I showed earlier. Artificial intelligence is the broad science of making machine intelligent. Then machine learning is a subset of AI where machines learn from data. And neural network is again a ML model, machine learning model inspired by brain, used to detect complex pattern. So like our brain is able to detect pattern, similarly we are giving that intelligence inside a computer via neural network and machine learning system, that it will be able to learn it, right? So deep learning is the neural network which with multiple layers that learn from under the from unstructured data, that is text and images, and then that's the deep learning. Generative AI is a type of deep learning model that can generate new content by learning from the existing data, and the large language model is the type of generative AI. We already explained that in detail, and these are the examples that the ChatGPT 4 or any other model of OpenAI, then Claude, Anthropic's Claude, Gemini 1.5 or any other model. I think Gemini has launched 2.0 as well, the latest version, and the Llama from Meta. So these are the popular LLM model. Other than that, there are other models as well, which we can utilize anyway. So yeah, so this is a high-level overview of generative AI. Now, before we get into the tools discussion, I want to give another view, and this is very favorite for me, like how to think about artificial intelligence as an overall. So how it is going to help not only the project management, the overall humanity or the society. How we should frame or structure the thinking about the artificial intelligence. Whenever we talk about or think about artificial intelligence, what should come in our mind? So that comes from the evolutionary theory, evolution of human world, and then the next leap with AI. So how the human has evolved so far and where we are headed towards, where we are going next. So if you will try to understand the history, so you will be able to project where we are going. So how I am trying to explain is that we have been a hunter-gatherer. If anyone is interested in the evolutionary history of the human, how human has evolved. So we were hunter-gatherer, and then agriculture came into the picture, then industrialization, then digital age. Now we are moving into the AI age. And every change has a drastic change in the way people or human work, perform, or behave. So that's the trajectory of human progress. So hunter-gatherer era was pre-10,000 BC, where 80% of the, and try to understand what I'm trying to explain. This is very nuanced way of thinking about artificial intelligence. So when we were hunter-gatherer, 80% of the human effort was spent on finding food and shelter. Imagine that you are living in this age when we are a hunter-gatherer. We have just evolved from animal to human, and the whole day of my work will be about 80% of my day and night time will be spent finding food or shelter. Manual survival based work, no specialization or systemization. There was nothing like that. Work means survival. Means for their work, for hunter-gatherer, work was what? It was survival. Every day you have to work to survive. That was the work there. Then the agriculture came. So agriculture revolution, about 10,000, approximately 10,000 BC, we began to domesticate nature. Farming gave us more control over resources, birth of routine and labor-based economies, specialization begins, and farmer builders foundation for civilization. So what happened? We outsourced our food problem, or more or less shelter problem as well. By the time we moved into an agricultural revolution, we outsourced it. Means our 80% of the survival effort got replaced with what? Doing a farming, agriculture, creating a community. So all those things came into the picture that we moved from there to there. So most of the effort, 80% of the effort moved towards the kind of how do we cultivate our food, etc. Right? So we freed up our time. And then it comes the industrial revolution. Machine replaced the muscle power. So means in the agricultural age, all the dependency were on the muscle power. Human energy in terms of a muscle power was important, and then it got replaced with the industrialization, where we bring machine into the picture. So mechanization of physical labor. Machine replaced muscle power, transforming productivity by mechanizing mechanization of physical labor, mass production, factories and urbanization, rise of organization, labor and management. So you see, our means all the muscle power get outsourced to machine. And then what happened? The digital age, computer age, the computers and software automated information and administrative work. What happens then? All the computational activity of human has been outsourced to the computer. Means for every mathematical calculation, you have to do it on a paper, pen and paper. So that got outsourced to the computer. Shift from manual to knowledge work, rise of global connectivity and automation and productivity powered by data and digital. Till now we have understood. Now we are not able to understand what will happen when the next, what remains with the human, which is now going to be outsourced. So that's the big question. So far, we have outsourced our muscle. We outsourced all the responsibility of food and shelter problem. We outsourced even our analytical capability through the computer. Like if I don't need to utilize my brain to do a calculation, to remember numbers. We can put this into computer and refer it back any point of time, right? So those things have been outsourced. Now what remains? What is there with the people? Today, how we define who is better person than any other? That's your cognitive power. That's today's world, in today's environment, 80% of the human survive or live because of their thinking ability, because of their cognitive ability, because we are able to, like, here you all are a project management professional, or you are working in any profession. What is for what we are kind of surviving? What we are doing, we are utilizing our brain. So now that is what my thought process is, that now age of AI is the first technology to augment cognitive abilities. Means I'm saying it will augment our cognitive ability, as well as at some point, some limit, it is going to be outsourced as well. We need not to work on the cognitive task, that will get outsourced to AI. Not just physical or informational task, AI augment thinking, decision making and creativity. Redefine what knowledge work means the current knowledge worker will be redefined. It is not going to happen the way it is happening today. If the pace at which we are adopting artificial intelligence, if it continues, maybe in next 4 or 5 years, the modern way of working is going to drastically change. We will live in an environment where you will no more be working with only a human. You will be working with something called the AI agent. So like today, if you are in a team where you have 10 team members as a human, in tomorrow's world, we will have like 2 or 3 human as a team member and 5 or 6 as an AI agent. And the people manager, then also the people manager will exist. But the role of people manager is not going to be only managing a human resources, but also the AI agent. That is what my thought process is, and that is where I'm thinking so far that it's going to happen. So project managers evolve from task control to a strategic value creator. Means right now our responsibility is to control the task. If that work is going to be outsourced to AI, then what the project manager will do? They will be working on the strategic value creation. So what value we create for the organization or the humanity or the overall society, that will be the responsibility of the project manager. So in summary, each era of technology has allowed us to offload a layer of labor. So as we see in these hunter-gatherer to agriculture, industry, and digital, so we offloaded a layer of labor, first physical labor, then computational. With AI, we are now offloading cognitive ability. Cognitive labor means analytical thinking. To the some extent, even the analytical thinking work will be outsourced or offloaded to artificial intelligence. It's the most profound leap yet in the way we work, live, and create. So I don't know how much you are able to resonate with this message. This is my very curated information. That's how I think that it's going to make impact on the overall society, way of working, and the humanity. And if you will understand this concept well, then you will be equipped to embrace and welcome the artificial intelligence and utilize it at the best. And then you can be the ambassador of artificial intelligence, and you can take a lead in the new world. And that's what my purpose is, to let everyone understand what is going to happen in the future and be ready for that. Now, the next topic, we talked about the artificial intelligence. Sorry, let me think. Yeah. So we talked about what is the artificial intelligence, right? Overall structure, what it means. Now let's talk about the artificial intelligence, how we can utilize in the project management. From my perspective, I think these two things differently: artificial intelligence in project management versus managing AI projects. The first one means artificial intelligence in project management means that we are a project manager, we are managing projects, we are doing day-to-day work. How AI can help us to improve the performance or augment the project management, or deliver the value better than we are doing with the existing tools and technology that exists. That's the one thing. And from my perspective, this is a compulsory skill in today's day that every project manager should have. Then how to utilize, because even if you will not try to learn, it's going to hit you hard way, and then you will have to learn. So that's why be prepared, try to utilize and learn as much as you can, that how can you implement artificial intelligence in today's way of working. That's the one vertical of learning. That's the one domain of learning, that how we will use AI in project management versus managing AI project. Managing AI project is a separate skill set that is needed for a project manager to manage an artificial intelligence project. Means if your organization is building an AI tool, they are building a new AI model altogether. They are doing an RAG model for their chatbot, or they are building a automated self-driving car. So what the skill and capabilities a project manager should have to manage those projects, that's a separate domain of knowledge that is needed for a project manager. Hope this makes sense. And if that makes sense, please give me a thumbs up or any symbol so that I can relate that you guys able to understand. Okay, thanks very much for thumbs up. So yeah. So basically, this is very important thing. Even PMI in their courses, they don't differentiate. They talk about both things together, and it can go hand in hand. If somebody is managing AI project, then it is given that he will be using AI in project management. But if somebody is utilizing AI in project management, it's not necessary that he is the capable project manager to manage AI project. That is what I'm trying to explain. Okay. Now, AI in project management, what it is? Using AI tool to improve how projects are managed. So what skill we need to have? So AI assists in decision-making, forecasting, and scheduling, and communication. PMs use AI-powered tools like the risk predictions engines the smart assistant for meeting summaries, and automated dashboard and reports. So these are the tools. Utilizing these tools will fall under this domain of learning, the AI in project management. So it augments the role of project managers by automating repetitive tasks and providing real-time insights. Learning focus would be the understanding how AI tool works, learn to integrate AI into existing workflow, and use data to drive better project outcome. Okay. Then we talk about managing AI project. So what is managing AI project? Managing AI, as I explained earlier as well. So leading projects that involve the development, deployment, or integration of AI solutions. Means you are working on a project, like you are working on a software development project, you are working on a constructing a building project, you are working on a project which is creating a dam, creating a bridge, etc. Similarly, now most of the software projects will fall under the AI projects. Means you are developing or deploying or integrating an AI solution. So to manage, so like for the software development project, we try to learn about the hybrid approach or agile approach or a waterfall or the predictive approach, right? Similarly, there should be some specific approach that will talk towards the end. What are those skills or the framework that is needed to manage that kind of a project? That is the learning domain that we'll discuss in this video. So requirement understanding of the AI life cycle. This requires you to understand the AI life cycle, that the data preparation, training, and deployment, AI ethics, bias, and explainability, collaboration with data scientists, engineers, and product teams. PM acts as a bridge between technical and business team. So this is the obvious even in today's scenario, but it will be more, much more important even in the AI projects, right? And what will be the learning focus for managing AI projects? Learn the basics of AI ML model. You need to know the basics of that, understand the agile and hybrid delivery of for AI, and focus on data governance, experimentation, and iteration development. So even in agile, we have a focus on iterative development, but we don't have much focus on the data governance and experimentation. So these things will be added in those development approach or the project management approach that will be more focused towards managing AI projects. Okay. Now, this graph seems very familiar with the project management team. Like if you have been preparing for a PMP exam as well, that this graph is generally used to differentiate between when we will be using predictive approach, then the adaptive approach, or the hybrid approach, right? So similar graph has been used here in case of the AI as well. What it means, the work which is less in complexity, less complicated, can be automated, which is more towards the complex, that can be assisted, and then the one which fall under the complex component means the higher in complexity. So how complex is the task? If the complexity is low within this frame, this window, then these can be automated. That can be performed by machine. So we can automate those things that are less technical, which is less complex. We can automate all those things. No human needed going forward. So many organizations have just started adopting these things, and many have trying to adopt. But in future, all of these items, like the meeting notes summary, much of the time of project managers been spent on creating a meeting notes and summarizing the meeting, etc. Those works can be fully eliminated as a responsibility of the project management, and that can be automated using tools like the report generations. We create a weekly report, monthly report, dashboard, quarterly executive report. So all those reports can be automated. I will give a glimpse. With the given limited amount of time, we cannot do the experimentation or the live session like how we will create those workflow, but I will give a very high level insight how you can think of and based on those input, you can experiment in your systems how you can utilize those techniques or the workflow. So we cannot do the demo session to creating these things, but just to give you an idea, in upcoming sessions, I will explain how we can do that, like the lessons learned summary. It's a very nice case studies of the lessons learned. Almost every project management follow the lessons learned, that towards the end of the project, we have to create a lessons learned, and you have to enter into the lessons learned register. I can bet like 90% of the organization where you submit your lessons learned information will never be referred it back, because no one knows what lessons learned will be useful for the future projects. Like if you are working on some projects today, how would you know what are those lessons learned which was stored a year back can be beneficial for you today? It's very difficult. Generally, that does not exist in most of the organization. But what can happen with the help of AI? Let's imagine all the lessons learned document that you have prepared will be feed into a LLM model. I will explain that how the enterprise LLM model works compared to the public LLM model. Like you have a chat GPT that you use on your personal computer. So that's the publicly available. But some LLM model which comes from the enterprise license model, which defines that data will remain within that organization. So in that case, you will have the LLM feed in, and then all the lessons learned information will be stored in one database, even in the unstructured format. And then you imagine that you have a portal of lessons learned. You being a project manager, you just type in some prompt like you do in a chat GPT that I am starting to run this project. This is the objective of the project. Give me all the lessons learned related to this project, what I should be aware of from the past projects. And then LLM or the AI will be able to investigate and give you exact those lessons learned information based on the organization that is helpful for your organization, how impactful it would be. So those things can be automated: report generation, meeting notes, and lessons learned. But at the same time, there would be some area where we will automate a little bit, and then we will augment it, or we will get an assistance from the AI. Things like large data set analysis. So you having a large data sets in the Excel sheet or in a database, analyzing those data sets is very difficult. So there are so many sophisticated and advanced tools that exist based on the AI, which without even spending much time, it will give you a very beautiful information out of those data. So you can utilize those tools to get the synthesized information, and then put your human brain, you understand, try to analytically that what is beneficial for you from your project perspective, what is not. So means where the complexity rises, you can mix and match between human and machine. So that's why here the machine is less and the human is more. As we progress towards this bar, means human is more and machine is less, right? So in these areas like the risk analysis, cost benefit analysis, cost and schedule estimation. So in these activity, we can utilize the human and machine both. And when it comes, the more complex component, then less machine and more on human. We are not saying machine will be eliminated. We will still utilize the machine as well, like the project decision making. So decision making is a cutover exercise that we take a decision. So decision will still be the human, but all the input will be based on the computers, based on the AI model. We can get all the data from the AI, and then human can take a decision. Project business case creations, like how do we create the business case? We can take help from the machine or LLM model to create a first draft of the business case, but then the project manager or project sponsor will come into the picture, try to understand. So that's what we also call the human in loop. Means you utilize the AI model, AI output, and then put human also in the loop, and then you take a final decision. So this is a very important graph that you should understand, keep this in mind so that it will help you to you think that how we will utilize this AI thing in your project. Now, this is a very important concept. I'm sure most of you are already aware about prompt engineering. I'm 100% sure most of you would have used the ChatGPT. You are using it for some purpose, right? But understanding a little bit more detailed fashion, it will help you to be improving it. In coming age, prompt engineering is going to be one of the major skills. One of the major skills it will be for any working professional, not for the project manager, for any working professional. A good prompt engineering is important. Anyone can get an output from any LLM model, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, any other model you use it. You give a prompt, you will get the answer. Everyone will get an answer. But how accurate, how appropriate answer you will get from the AI model, it is the skill of prompt engineering. It's going to be most of a soft skill. It will fall under your power skill in the triangle of the project management knowledge areas. So it will fall under the power skill. It's going to be the one of the important skill that everyone should have. So that's why I request that try to understand these concepts a little more, because and also I'm emphasizing that most of you have already used the prompt, right? So what is prompt? Prompt are the input into generative AI systems to obtain specific results. Prompt engineering is a vital skill that involves the meticulous crafting, testing, and refining of prompts to guide generative AI model towards accurate, relevant, and useful prompts outputs, right? And what is effective prompt engineering requires several key strategies like the crafting specific and structured prompts, providing relevant context. So you have to give a relevant context to the LLM model. Then only I will explain that in the upcoming slides as well, how those frame works. Setting the appropriate tone, including example, experimenting and refining prompts, understanding the audience, using clear language, incorporating a structure and adding reliability checks. So this seems like a text, but very simple message from me is that it's not something just talking to LLM. It is much more than that, right? So anyone can give any question to LLM and you will get the answer. Everyone will get an answer, but how efficient answer you get, it depends on you. You consider that any LLM model that you have in your computer is the most intelligent person in the world in that particular field. Any field you think about, if it's related to text right now, if it's related to understanding of any concept, then you just think that you have the most intelligent person in the world sitting with you. Now it's your skill, how you ask that question, that he will give you exactly what you are looking for. So drafting your prompt is very important skill. And that's where some of the, two of the most popular formula of prompt I'm trying to present. One is called RTF, it's the simplest form or a formula, which says that the role, task, and format. Means when we give instruction to LLM model, we give this in a particular format, and the format is called the RTF, where we first tell the role, what the AI role is. Because as I'm saying, same model is the best engineer in the world, same model is the best project manager in the world, same model is the best doctor in the world, same model is the best writer in the world, content writer in the world, best SEO in the world. So everything, you can imagine that he has read all the books in any vertical. So that means he is the most intelligent person. So now you have to tell me from what perspective you are coming. If you will ask a very generic information, he will come up with a very generic output or answer. But if you will be very specific what exactly you want, then he will give you what exactly you need. So that's why it is important that you frame your prompt before giving it to LLM. And those framing techniques These are the role, task, and format. Means in terms of a role, you define, you let a LLM know, define a role of the AI or the prompter, establish a context for the task, what task you are trying to give him. So role, then task, you give a task, what exactly task you are asking, and what is the format. As an example, as you can read it through from the project management perspective, like I'm giving a prompt as an example, and this is all coming from the PMI courses, okay? But you can come up with your new ideas. You are an experienced project manager specialized in facility renovation and construction management. So I give a specific role, what role he plays before he answers to me. I'm saying now you are a experienced project manager. Now you will give me the answer, what I will ask. What I'm asking, what task I am giving. Your task is to identify potential risk in this renovation project to transform a designated wings into a functional outpatient clinic, considering construction delays, budget overruns, patient safety, and uninterrupted hospital operations. I give all the context and a specific task. Task is to identify potential risk in the renovation project. And this project, the rest of the information is more of a context. In what context this risk, potential risk he need to identify. And then I'm also giving him a format. In what format he has to come up with, create a risk register with the project potential risk in a table format. I'm asking to give me the risk register in a table format. So I gave all the information, what is his role, what is the task he is going to perform, and what will be the format of the output. So this is one of the format of the formula. Another formula is a popular one, which is called create. It's more specific. It will be more, it will give more accurate answer compared to the previous one. Create stands for character, request, example, adjustment, and constraints, types of outputs, and evaluation. We are making it more specific before asking LLM to give me the output. In terms of a character, it's more of a role that defines the persona or a role that the AI should embody. Before answering the question, what persona he should carry. Then request, articulate the task. Again, the RTF task here is in terms of a request, articulate the task or tasks that the AI needs to perform. We give an example. Now we are adding the example as well. This character and request is similar like R and T. Now, before the format, we are giving an example. We give an example. Like in terms of our project management, we will give an example. Here is one of my past risk register example or something like that. We'll give an example. Adjustment and constraints. So then we will give some constraint as well. Specify any additional requirement or constraints for the AI response, if there is any other constraints. Type of outputs. Describe. This again is kind of a format. Describe the desired format or structure of the output, and evaluation and steps. And then we also give them the evaluation criteria that you evolve your answer and then you give me. Don't just come up and give me the answer. One more analogy that I can give. You understand that you have, if Einstein is the best scientist in the world, then you have Einstein sitting with you, but he is your assistant. He is your what we call is the anyway, so assistant itself, right? So he has all the knowledge, but before giving him a specific information, he cannot give the output. If you will give him the specific information, what you are looking for, then his answer will be as good as the answer from the Einstein. So one of the example of the prompt, you are detail-oriented, experienced project manager that specializes in this facility renovation and construction management. You take pride in your work. We are more emphasizing in the role that he is very focused project manager. He feels pride, take pride in your work as a project manager. Identify potential risk in the renovation project to transform a designated wing into a functional output clinic. So you can read it through. we will convert this in a PDF format and share it with everyone as well. So it's not that I'm just sharing it. So you will have this document as well that you can go through, refer as well. But you understand what I'm trying to explain. Prompt engineering is not just talking to your friend. It has to be systematic, formatted, and well thought of. If you will not give a thinking before giving a prompt, then you will get a very generic answer. And then later on, you might think that AI is not giving you an output as expected, and this is kind of a hype. I've heard from many people that they think that it's not accurate, right? But it's not accurate because you are not giving a specific question. Even to avoid the hallucination. Hallucination is the major problem with the AI model, that it hallucinates. If it doesn't know, then it will hallucinate and give something, make up answer. But if you give a very defined prompt, you can let AI know that if you don't know, don't try to make up the answer. You blindly say that you don't know about this. This can also happen, right? So it's all the prompt engineering, how well you have drafted the prompt, that will define the output quality as well. Effective prompt characteristics. What are those characteristics that an effective prompt should have? It's mostly the same thing, like a specificity, context. You need to give a proper context. Role, we talked about role. Tone as well is very important. In the tone of the prompt, appropriate for the desired output, whether it's a professional, casual, friendly, and so on. So tone is also important. So let's say if you are preparing a steering committee meeting there, or you are creating an executive summary, you need to give a tone that make it very professional. This is going to be this content will go to the executive leadership team. So then he will try, or the LLM will try to be improvise in a way that it will get. So he will understand that this data or the content is going to be consumed by the executive leadership team. So accordingly, the content will be more refined. At the same time, if you will tell the LLM that this is for the general public, then it will make it more a generic and a simple language so that anyone can understand. So tone is also very important. Example. If you give a good example, then it will be able to relate and then will give you a good answer as well. Experimentation and refinement. That's also very important. That experimentation and refinement is what? That you get an output. You think that it's not up to the mark, you give repeated, you ask him again that no, I'm not happy with it. Be little more, let's say if you are trying to draft email, then say that try to be more empathetic or try to be more professional. You think from the perspective that you are writing to a doctor. You think from a perspective that you are writing to an executive. So something like that. Refinement in the prompt engineering is also important. Audience tailoring, like who is your audience, means output, clarity, structure, and reliability check. Okay, so see, I can talk through these, but I'm also trying to be worried about timing. I have lots of more content. So see, these are the advanced prompting pattern, means other than the RTF and create, there are other pattern as well that exist. If you will keep on learning, you will try to understand more, even more prompt engineering. One advice I will give, never try to get a prompt as a copy. Somebody gives that I have got this output, this is the prompt. Don't try to copy that prompt that you have got some recipe. Prompt is not a recipe. Recipe is the understanding how to ask question. Prompt is not a recipe. If you just copy a prompt, you try to mimic that prompt, but copying prompt will not give you the exact output what the person who has published has got it. Because it also depends when you are talking to LLM, how your historical data has accumulated, and based on that, same prompt if you give and somebody else will give, output will be different. So don't try to copy a prompt, try to learn the prompt format, prompt engineering, prompt structure. Yes, try to learn how the structure they have used and mimic it in your language, but don't copy and paste the prompt. That's my advice to everyone if you are using a prompt. So some of the advanced prompt pattern is chain of thought. Chain of thought means nothing, but as I said, that you give one prompt, he gave you the answer, and then you repeat on that. You create a chain. Let's say, as an example, break down the project management plan into phases like initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, and closure. Means you give all the context related to the project. Now you say that I'm in the initiating phase of the project. I'm preparing a business case. Give me a high level structure of the business case, how it look like. You give the structure as well, or any template or so. So, and then it will come up with the information. See, I'm explaining it in a way that you have the ability to give all the information to LLM, but choose it wisely. Many organizations restrict entering data to the LLM tool, to ChatGPT or any other tool. So before entering any data to LLM, be cautious that if it's not enterprise licensed version of LLM, those data can be used for their overall learning, and that becomes public. So before giving any data, confidential data to LLM, think from a perspective, will you be able to publish data to on a website? If no, then transform the data, means change the data with the generic terms, like instead of placing a name, put a team name or something like that. So change the data before entering it to the LLM. And refer to your organization data security and privacy policy before entering. And whatever I'm explaining from the training perspective, how you should be utilizing it. But anything related to data, you have to be cautious while giving data to the LLM. Chain of feedback, it's similar to that the chain of thought. So you give a feedback. If you are not happy with the answer, you give him a feedback. Your output was not appropriate, as I am expecting this to be more professional or something like that. Whatever is it. Tree of thoughts means you give multiple ideas together, right? So when developing a project risk management plan, consider various risk response strategies, like the concurrently for the comprehensive risk mitigation. So you give all the risk response strategies, right? Persona is same like that, giving a role or the character. Flip the interactions, that's the important one, and it's the something that I wanted to explain a little bit. Flip the interactions means what happened in LLM, we give the question and LLM gives us the answer. Sometimes you may want to flip as well. Flip means you instruct the LLM that you ask me all those questions. So I am preparing a project management plan or the risk management plan. You ask me all the questions which you would be needing to come up with a risk management plan. So you are flipping the interaction. You are asking LLM to ask you questions. Now it is his responsibility. You give, maybe because you don't know how much data you need, right? So you might not know what are the data is needed for the risk management, preparing a risk management plan. So you are now giving a responsibility to the AI that you ask me those questions and then I will give you the answer, and then you come up with the risk management plan or whatever area you are planning. So that's the flipped interaction. Okay. Now I'm coming to the main thing where I'm saying that how we will practically use the practical use of AI, general AI for the project managers. See, we are not doing demo at the moment. I will just explain the workflow. You will have the document as well going forward. Try to experiment with it. If you are not able to come up with the exact output that you are trying to do, refine it, try to repeat it. And if you have any question, you guys can ask me a question as well going forward, right? So right now, one of the main pain area that exists today is that creating a customizable meeting summary. So almost every project manager has the responsibility that you go in a meeting, you facilitate the meeting, and at the end of the meeting, you have to come up with a summary of the meeting. So this workflow that has been explained in the AI course in PMI as well. They try to explain and come up with this workflow. It's a very nice workflow. Like you create a jot form where you enter that project meeting related information, and then you generate the email format via prompt, right? So create an email format via prompt and then process and summarize the meeting. Using the transcript of the meeting, you give this to the LLM tool, and then they will come up with the summarized information and add response to the new document and make it shareable using the share point, etc., and then create a draft. But what I'm saying, this entire workflow is no more needed. Why? Because this workflow was created when there was no automated tool. And that's how you can imagine how fast this AI development is also growing. So at one point of time, only to create a meeting summary, there was a workflow that was created. Means you create this workflow, you kind of create a tool which will take your project related information, what this meeting is all about, and then one prompt that you will feed in for the one time, and then it can be repeated as an automated, and then you use multiple tools like the ChatGPT or Claude, etc., and then you use a Microsoft SharePoint and the Google script, etc., to create the script and send an email as well. So entire workflow that you have created. But now even those workflow is not needed. Now you must have seen, I mean, whatever meeting tool that you are using, even today, right now we are using Google Meet. Google Meet has a very beautiful tool called the Gemini. We are recording this session. At the same time, Gemini is creating a transcript of this entire session. And at the end of the session, it will give me a summary of this meeting. A very beautiful summary. Similarly, all other tools like the Cisco WebEx. WebEx has the integration with OpenAI ChatGPT, and it's called the AI assistant. MS Team has a Copilot. Copilot is a very interesting tool. I will explain that. So MS Team has a Copilot. It can record the entire transcript, and at the end of the meeting, it will give you a very beautiful summary. A summary of the meeting plus the action item. I have used it practically many times. Summary is like almost 95% accurate. I only have it provided you have all like English speaking people and everyone is speaking very clearly, so that the transcript will be well written, and then your summary will be in my cases I have seen as accurate as 95% accuracy has come into the summary and the action item. I only have to fine tune and make some adjustment of 5% and then send it across to everyone, even in a meeting like the steering committee. So we are able to use the AI summary feature, AI assistant feature, to summarize the meeting and send it. So the work that used to take at least 30 to 45 minutes to synthesize, remember, and refer to my notes on during the meeting, and then come up with a draft and do some spell check, etc., and then send it, right? So all those 35 to 45 minute work has been minimized to like 2 to 3 minutes. I get the summary, copy it into the meeting note for whatever tool we use, and then do some fine tuning 4-5 minutes and then send it. So you got the 30 minutes. Similarly, there will be multiple avenues where you can fast track your work and utilize AI to minimize your time. So next case study is the AI requirement traceability matrix, test cases and visual dashboard. Means during the planning phase, you are working on an AI requirement gathering. This is one of the most difficult work or the tedious task that we do, right? Maybe while creating a workflow, it might take time, but once you have created the workflow, it can be utilized in multiple projects as well. So what is happening, and I'm just giving you a high level view, it requires lots of practice and effort. So You can, at the end of the session, I will also give you like what are those training sessions that you should be doing. So this session you can attend, and then you can learn, you can experiment, and then use it in your day-to-day life. Like collect requirements. So how do we collect the requirement? Everyone, if you are doing a PMP, you must be knowing what are the sources of the requirement, your business case, project charter, and then you do facilitate meeting with all these stakeholders, data collection, all those data collection tools that you use, you collect all those information, right? The meeting notes, etc. So all those requirements has been collected, and then you will feed in all the data to the chat GPT and give a prompt that you summarize all the requirement in a proper format, whatever format you have, right? You give a format. Then get the RTM template, requirement traceability metrics, PMI Infinity. Have anyone used PMI Infinity? If anyone have used the Infinity, then just give me a thumbs up so that I will get a sense that how many people are using it. PMI Affinity, if anyone has used this as a tool, just give me a thumbs up if you have used it, or any symbol. Okay. If no, then you are missing something. So it's like Chat GPT, PMI. If you are a member of PMI, that comes as a free. In the backend, it uses OpenAI as a model. PMI Affinity is Edge Gen AI tool like the Chat GPT, where you can ask a question and answer, but it's more specialized for the project management. So that's why I'm saying that in this step, get RTM template. So ask a PMI Affinity that give me some RTM templates. Then it will give you a template. You have the requirement collected that you feed into the chat GPT, and it gives you all the summaries or synthesize the requirement of information. Then you get the template, two component done. Then again, you are giving a chat GPT requirement traceability metrics creation. Then you are asking, this is my template. This is the requirement that you have come up with. Then you create the requirement traceability metrics. You need not to do everything. It will be done. And at every stage, then when you are moving to one step to another, there is also an arrow called the human in loop. Means once that is done, it's not like, at least today, it's not like that you can blindly believe that whatever has come as an output is 100% accurate and is ready to use. You need to use your evaluation as well, that whether it is accurate or not, and then you create the test cases. Based on that, you say that this is my requirement traceability metrics. Now you give me a test cases as well, and then create a task. So all these works can be automated. More than the automation, it is quality output. As a PM, we can be as accurate as we can learn, right? As accurate as we have the experience. And the learning and experience can be limited to an individual as a human. But AI tool has no limit. He has read all the PM related book. He has understand all the concepts. He has all the templates across the world, right? So they will be much, much more efficient than me. Keep that in mind. So it's not only about automation, it's also about quality output. It will give you a much better quality output that then you can make it based on your understanding. Okay. So far, am I going well? Any concerns so far? Okay, thanks. I got some thumbs up. Very nice. Thank you. I see this. Okay, now let's get into the second next slide, which is called again the same practical application, AI application builder, coach, and avatar translator. It's also very interesting. So collect presentation input. So AI presentation builder. So as a PM, we create lots of presentations all day long, right? So many presentation we create. So how good it would be if that can be automated or it will be enhanced. And I'm repeating, it's not only about automation, it's about enhancement as well. It enhances what you have been able to deliver. So what happens, the AI presentation, like you collect all the presentation inputs, whatever presentation you want to create, like let's say you are trying to come up with a steering committee meeting deck. So that means you have all the input, you have collected all the input, gave to the chat GPT to create a presentation of input, like all the input you have given to synthesize what all information should be there into the presentation. Then, based on all the information that you want to be present in the slide or a deck, you give to a tool called Gamma. Gamma is a very interesting tool. I would suggest everyone to use it. So Gamma, what it does, you give all the input, what should be the subject and the content of the presentation. It will come up with a multiple variety of presentation deck. Then you can pick and choose what you want. And once you have pick and choose, you will be able to fine tune, means human in loop, you will be able to augment as well. Just to give you an insight, my slide right now, this is completely manual one. Even I can show you, I tried to today itself, because I didn't have much time to create the content. Recently, I completed the content yesterday. I thought to augment this presentation based on the AI. Right now, whatever you see, it's the manually created presentation. So I gave this to the Gamma. It came up with a very beautiful format. I can even show you how it looked like. Though I needed to do some fine tuning, obviously human in loop needs to happen, and I didn't have the time. That's why I didn't use the Gamma version. This is my personal version, but it's okay to use the Gamma version, right? And it's important that we should be using it. At this point, that triggered me something which I wanted to share. So these days, what happens, people feel proud in saying that I have not used ChatGPT to come up with this content. I believe this is not a good thought process. Reason is, in past, I think sometime Einstein had said, I am much more powerful when I have a pen and paper. So that point of time, somebody could have said that Einstein is nothing without the pen and the paper, and that's true. Similar is the case when the printing press come into the picture. At that point of time, many people had opposed it, that it's going to kill the creativity of the people. It will kill the handwriting ability of the human. But what happened? It augmented the knowledge sharing across the world. There are, if you will study the history of printing press, there are multiple countries or the society who opposed it. They fall behind. They become much less developed compared to those countries who adopted it. Then it came to a computer age. People at that point of time as well, when computer came into the picture, people used to say that it is going to take away the job of the people. Everything will be done by the computer. But here we are, where the work has been augmented, we are able to do much more efficient work. Similar is the case with AI. There should be no hesitation in saying that I have provided, your organization has allowed to use the LLM tool, etc. I'm not asking to bypass it, but utilizing LLM for coming up with the content is not a problem. Use it because it's going to augment it. Once you will start using it, then you will realize how better the content it would be. If you are a project manager, you need not to be a very good content writer. You need to be a strategic thinker, not a good writer. So if you are taking a help from a writer, then that's not a problem. For an example, old age project manager who used to do the construction projects, like constructing a building. They used to do the entire work breakdown structure in a pen and paper. So that age project manager can say that you guys are using a tool, you are not a skilled and efficient project manager. But that's not true. Similar would be the case when the project PMs who will be using AI for augmenting or enhancing their work, they will be the first one going into the new age. So that's why don't be hesitant in saying that I have used ChatGPT or any other tool for your data. Okay. I don't know why it reminded me, so I just wanted to share. So coming back to this workflow, so we create the presentation using Gamma, then collect and organize feedback. So we give this presentation to ChatGPT and then collect and organize some feedback and then generate the presentation node using Cloud. Cloud has come up with recently a new tool called the Artifacts. That's a very beautiful tool which gives you a pictorial view as well. So Cloud is also a very advanced LLM tool that we should be using it. So using the Cloud, you can use presentation note as well, right? So practice presentation, Udly. Have anyone heard about the Udly? Like Gamma, Udly is also very nice too. What it does, like if I have this recording done for this session, I will have this video available as recorded. I can upload this recording content to Udly. Udly will analyze what are those improvement area in terms of a presentation skill, in terms of explanation skills. So how good it would be that you can practice your presentation. Let's say you are going to present your business case in front of executive leadership team. And maybe it is the first time that you are going for that. You might want to do a practice before going into the live session. Usually give you that opportunity. You record your session, you do a session, record it and give it to Udly, and it will come up with multiple suggestions and enhancement ideas. So that's what the Udly is used. And translate the presentation. Let's say if you are doing a presentation for some training or awareness session. Oh, I'm so sorry, I crossed the time already. It's a 4:36. Our session is until 4:30. I just realized. I'm sorry about that. I will try to wrap up. In any way, I will give you this content to everyone. So translate presentation, it's an application called Synthesia, which translates in any language. So if your recording is in English, it can be translated into the Spanish or French, any other language, and that can be utilized for the presentation. Automate data collection, data extraction, or data cleaning. Expensify is a tool where, let's say, if you have to analyze the cost overrun or where the cost is going. So you have all the invoices from the project. So let's say if you want to analyze where the cost is going. So you have all the invoices, not a structured data. So Expensify is a tool where you put all the expense related information. It will extract the data out of all those files and give you in an Excel format. Then cleaning the data, you can use it with the Alteryx. Okay, Alteryx, maybe I will take like 10 more minutes, then I need to wrap up. Thanks for asking. So clean the data using the Alteryx. Alteryx is the tool through which you have the Excel format, and then you can clean the data. And then Excel AI. If anyone has used Excel AI as a tool, that's a very nice tool that instead of creating a pivot table, you just click the Excel AI, analyze data prompt, and then it will give you a multiple pivot tables, right? So that you can utilize to analyze data. So, okay. Now I will try to explain Copilot. So many of you must be using Microsoft 365 in your organization. Microsoft 365 comes with the licensing. So, but Microsoft 365 license without Copilot for my M365 Copilot does not have those features that I'm going to talk about. By default, Microsoft gives the Copilot feature, but it's not Microsoft for 365. So that's a different tool. Copilot is just like the OpenAI ChatGPT or Claude that you can use in a Microsoft environment, even in Office 365. But there is an enhanced tool. I think it's about $30 per user that costs. Only few organization has started adopting, at least as I know. If any of your organization has procured the Copilot license on top of Office 365, Microsoft 365, then you are lucky one. Try to utilize it. So this Copilot thing can be used in a multiple way. It's just that I try to give you the sense how it works. Like you are the users, and then apps on your device is like these are the tools like Edge, Word, Excel, your Outlook or MS Team. Then what this Office 365 Copilot does, and this Microsoft 365 Copilot is different than only Copilot. That's the core differentiator. This only comes with additional license which Microsoft charges for Office 365 Copilot. So once you have this license, then there is something called Microsoft Graph. Microsoft Graph means it has the access to all the data within your organization. And also, depending the user who is accessing this tool, his access to the data will also be limited to only that data which he has got the access to. Means if this is the company data and you only have the access to these amount of data, then all the analysis that Copilot will be doing only based on this data. How cool it could be that now you have the power of AI. OpenAI ChatGPT means all the synthesizing or the understanding knowledge, the world knowledge is coming from ChatGPT. Then on top of this Copilot has the access of all the data. Means you can imagine this Copilot has access to all the email. But that does not mean that this email access will be given to the Microsoft as well. So only your Copilot, specific to your Copilot, has access to all the data within your inbox, as well as all the SharePoint where you have the access to. All the project files that where you have the access, this Copilot has the access. Now you only need to give a prompt to the Copilot that based on the email received on the business case, information from the project sponsor so and so, come up or try to come up with a business case document. It will fetch the data from your email, from your SharePoint, from your project site, etc. All the places, even on the meeting notes, lessons learned, everything, whatever data access you have. You need not to manually synthesize and understand the information and then come up with the output. This all work will be outsourced to your Copilot and he will do. And that is what the workflow is. You can try to understand it later as well. So it's a very nice tool. But in summary, if you have a Copilot for Office 365, it's a very nice tool to be used in project management. It's going to reduce your work by at least 40 to 50% time. Okay, now another one is project reporting. So that's again, it's a very important thing that we create multiple reports. I would suggest that you go through the training module as well that exists on a PMI once you have completed your PMP certification, of course. So this will help you to guide how to come up with this kind of a workflow, but I have kept it on a very high level, how it look like, that identify the dashboard fields and visualization. What are those fields that you need, and that you will ask from the PMI Infinity. Okay, and then you gather the clean and prep the data using the human plus LLM. So either tool that you use plus human means your involvement, and then create a dashboard using the Claude or ChatGPT, and then review and iterate using the human means yourself, and then using HTML share the dashboard and automate the sharing using the Google script. Now, very quickly, these are the just 2 slides. It's managing AI projects. As I had explained earlier, why does the managing AI project need a nuanced approach? Means a different approach. What are the approach that exists today? That in a PMP, we study that project development approach. There are 2 approaches on a broad sense: the predictive approach and the adaptive approach. And there is a hybrid approach. Similarly, only thinking from the hybrid or predictive and adaptive approach is not going to help us to drive the AI project. Now I'm switching the gear. Till now I was explaining what are those project management skills, AI skills that you can utilize in a project management. Now we are talking about what is the skill is needed to manage AI project, and that is where the CPMAI is a new certification from Microsoft that comes into the picture. CPMAI stands for Cognitive Project Management in Artificial Intelligence. Means to manage artificial intelligence project, what skills a project manager should have. So while existing approaches to general project management principles have greatly advanced the practice of application and project management, none fully capture the nuanced need of AI projects. Factors like data ownership, privacy, bias, ethics, governance, and ROI based feasibility are often overlooked or treated as an afterthought. So things like the bias, ethics, privacy, data ownership, these things is not being talked about in the adaptive or predictive approach. That's why it is important that we should have understanding of this. So CPMAI was designed to close these gaps and reduce the high rate of the AI project failures. The CPMAI methods extends the familiar proven approach like agile and data focused frameworks with the AI specific best practices. Okay. See, I could have explained it into the detail, but on a very high level, these are the 7 patterns of AI. Means any AI project that you will be managing, they will fall under one of the AI project, like the hyper personalization. Hyper personalization is like you see in a social media, you get the personalized feeds. Similarly, I think in future, can you imagine when you are going on a road trip, even the billboard of the road will be personalized for you. If 5 cars is crossing the road, what I think that in future, these 5 cars will see different content on the billboard depending on who is watching it. So that level of hyper personalization is going to happen using AI. So any project that is doing the hyper personalization, they will fall under this pattern, and there will be a different treatment or the way we manage the project for the hyper personalization compared to recognition. Like recognition is kind of a project where the tool will be developed to do the recognition. Like let's say on a CCTV camera, there is an application which is trying to be built, which will identify any suspect, any terrorist, the one who is going to milice the public or something like that. So based on all the behavior of the person, it will detect and then control. So those kind of a tool will fall under this. Conversation and human interaction, like the ChatGPT. So that fall under this. Predictive analytical decisions, like some of the project management tool who can predict in advance what is the failure rate of the project, something like that. Goal-driven system, some specific goal to be achieved. Autonomous system means self-driving car, pattern and anomalies, very similar to the recognition one. So these are the 7 patterns which CPMI talks about, and based on what pattern of project that we are driving, there will be a slightly nuanced way of project management for that. And now this is the 6 phases of CPMI. Means any AI project will go through these 6 phases. Business understanding, first try to understand the business, like whether the business problem that we are trying to solve, is it needed to be solved by AI or it can be solved by some other way as well. Then data understanding, do we have all the data that is needed? Data preparation. So then it talks about how do we prepare the data, then model development, what model will help, then model evaluation. Once we have identified the model, which model is going to help us, and then the model operationalization, then we have to operationalize the model for that AI tool. Now, this is my last slide. I think thank you very much for your patience and attending the session over the weekend on Sunday. So just a few takeaway from this, like, yes, recording will be made available. This content will be converted into the PDF and will be made available. But I would suggest, if you want to go and learn more about it, then there are some free tools that is available, like generative AI overview for project managers. I believe many of you would have already done that course. Then there is another free introduction to cognitive project management in AI, CPMI course. Then we have AI essentials for project professionals. This is also a very comprehensive guide. Then some advanced training that is available free of cost if you are a PMI member. Practical application of generative AI for project managers. All the workflow that I had shown in the previous few slides are coming from this course. So if you are a PMI member, then I would suggest you must go through this training as well. Talking to AI, that's also a very nice course from PMI. Then this is the certification CPMAI, Cognitive Project Management in AI. This is something which is certification that has been recently launched by PMI. In fact, it's not launched. They have acquired an organization called Cognitia. They had this certification that has been adopted by PMI now. So even I have not done the certification. I have a plan to do this certification in coming few months. Then one book recommendation. This is not from the project management, but if you are really interested to understand what is AI and what the future will look like, then I suggest this book to be read, The Coming Wave. This has been written by Mustafa Suleyman. Mustafa Suleyman is the current CEO of Microsoft AI. So he is the peer of Sundar Pichai. Sorry, Satya Nadella. Sorry, I was confused with Sundar Pichai. So Satya Nadella. So Mustafa Suleyman, he was a co-founder of what's the company name? Deep Learning or something like that. So he had developed the Go tool from AI. So he is one of the early AI enthusiasts, I would say, or the AI inventor. So he has written a very nice book, The Coming Wave, a compelling read on AI future, ethics, and scientific impact, societal impact. Okay. So with that, sorry, I took like 20 more minutes but I am done now. So with that, thank you very much. So this is my LinkedIn link. If you want to connect with me, I would be happy to be in connection with you. If you have any question, I'm always available either through WhatsApp or directly on a DM on the LinkedIn. Even if I will get a good feedback about this session, I might plan some more session related to artificial intelligence and how AI can improve the overall project management going forward. So thank you for being part of the session. I would love to hear that what worked well and how I can make it better. So now I can open this forum. If anyone wants to talk anything about this session, what your learning is, how was the experience, or anything related to that, if anyone wants to talk about that, or if anyone has any question, I can spend a few minutes here.
Hi Pawan, Arvind here. I asked this, to one of our guys as well from Add-on Skills. So, will this PPT be shared if I missed
Yes,
this
as I
aspect?
mentioned, I will be converting it into PDF, and then it
Okay,
will.
okay, that will be great. So,
Okay.
Yeah, Pawan, this is Sonal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the session was very informative, very good, and you nicely explained. But now still we have to go through it. Like we need to digest, like what exactly, how can we implement these skills, and how to learn, and also I think we need more time. especially I need more time, and I will definitely go through it. And if I have any question, I'll come to you.
Sure, definitely. See, it requires practice. My
Exactly.
idea is to just spark your curiosity from the future, that how AI can transform the project management in the future going forward. Idea is not to handhold, because that requires lots of time. Even one workflow would require at least 1 to 2 hour session to explain how to come up with a kind of a workflow and create a workflow. The idea is to do a practice, right? And if you're really interested to learn more, I would suggest to go through these trainings as well. Means courses that are available free from PMI, most of them, right? And read some book, read article, attend webinar on a PMI platform as well, project management platform. So yeah,
Sure. Thank you, Pawan.
thank you. Sure. So anyone else wants to talk about anything about this session? Any feedback? Any good books for project management using AI? So far, see, I have not seen any book related to specific to project management in AI, but I believe Antonio Rodriguez, he is doing some research and trying to come up with a book. Very soon there should be a good book. I'm a fan of Antonio Rodriguez. So he had written one book called the on HBR, project man, something like that. You can search it. I can give it. I don't remember right now the name, but it was on a Harvard Business Review school. So he is trying to come up with the book, but so far I am not aware any specific AI book which is related to the project management. But PMI is a very good source of information, at least at this point of time. So lots of content is available on PMI. It's worth reading, going through the articles, etc. Okay. So if no more question or anything to share, then I think we are good to conclude this call now. Thank you very much for being participative and be present and being a good audience here. Thank you very much. Have a good day. And
Thank you, Pawan.
let's have a good weekend. Bye.
Yes.
Thank you, Pawan.
Thanks, Pawan. Have a great evening, everyone. Bye bye.
Thanks.